After hundreds of comments asking about my musical tastes, and also the music I use in my videos, I'm finally going to show you. Growing up in the early 2000s, I used to listen to bands such as Green Day, Blink-182, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and The Offspring. I only really listened to these bands because people told me to listen to them. Although they were great legendary bands in their own right, I knew I was searching for something completely different, so my search began, and I began to find some brilliant Australian acts. A brilliant band named Something for Kate from Melbourne, Victoria, and also Kisschasy. Kisschasy was a blend of pop rock with catchy tunes and a very creative drummer. I also listened to Jebediah, a local band from Perth, Australia, and Karnivool, another band from Perth. These guys are one that you really should check out, with tunes reminiscent of Tool and also the Butterfly Effect. John Butler burst into the mix with a brilliant blend of alternative rock and bluegrass. Moving on to the USA, the indie rock scene / emo rock scene was in full swing and ablaze from the years 2003 to 2006 with bands such as the Academey Is, Name Taken, and Saosin, which had one of the most creative drummers in the entire scene. In 2001, a group of young guys from New Jersey were about to burst onto the scene and change the indie rock scene forever. They would gain a dedicated cult following over the next 6 years. This band was none other than the Early November. Humble lead singer Ace Enders had a brilliant storytelling ability. He managed to literally sing his whole life story to his audience over a number of albums. He later went on to make a solo project called I Can Make a Mess Like Nobody's Business. In stark contrast to this was Moneen. They were a very out there band with crazy stage antics and a very energetic live performance. They often teamed up with Alexis on Fire, which is where the mighty Dallas Green came from, cited to have one of the best voices in the industry. His angelic voice was great. Of course, we all know Taking Back Sunday. Taking Back Sunday helped define the early 2000s emo genre. Two band members from Taking Back Sunday, Nolan and Cooper, went on to form Straylight Run. Straylight Run was lyrically genius and a great band. Paramore, before Twilight, was actually an amazing band, and you should check out All We Know Is Falling. Lydia was also a band around that same time, with great storytelling ability and worth checking out as well. As my searching continued, I dug further and further into the underground music scene. I dug so far down, I came out on the other side. In 2007, I found post-rock. In 1994, a young band out of the UK, Bark Psychosis, set out to record an album named Hex. When reviewed, no one really knew what to call it. It was revolutionary. One reviewer settled on the term post-rock, and hence post-rock was officially born. Post-rock turned everything common to the music industry on its head. Vocals are not important, it's the music that takes centre stage. Guitars were not about riffs and licks, but adding texture and atmosphere. Hex was 10 years ahead of its time, even though I didn't like the album particularly. From Texas in 2005, This Will Destroy exploded onto the scene, melting faces as they went. They played live shows with such power and conviction similar to the likes of Maguire and Explosions in the Sky. So much so that if you go on their YouTube video pages, you can see people saying that the music has changed their lives. In contrast, Balmorhea were known to use mostly classical instruments in their arrangements. Moving Mountains was a particularly interesting band since their formation in 2005, blending emotive vocals with post-rock. Later on, they changed their sound to a more mainstream audience, with post-hardcore and post-rock being their blend of choice. The electronic post-rock scene was dominated by bands such as the American Dollar, Hammock and Helios. Gates was a 2011 project, formed from the member Ethan Kuza from Lydia. They are a blend of post-hardcore and post-rock, and I use their music heavily in my videos, so they're worth checking out. In Japan, another movement was taking place, shoegaze. Shoegaze was coined from the early 90s British movement. It involved band members just staring at their shoes, highlighting that music was about music and that the performers should really just get out of the way. Toe was a more upbeat post-rock type, with math rock and complex time signatures utilised by a great drummer. The Swedish scene was a bit different, with the boys Emmanuel releasing an album in 2007 titled They'll Come, They Come. It received critical acclaim for its use of sweeping vocals as another instrument instead of taking the lead. I recommend a manual. Log was another band with the same kind of emotive technique. The mighty Sigur Rós. Very unorthodox, are known for using their instruments in weird ways, such as playing guitars with violin bows and playing two bass guitars. They've been featured in numerous movies because of their atmospherics. Lead singer Jonesy went off to form a solo career later on. As my search progressed, I came across something pretty cool: post-hardcore. Featuring amazing vocals and absolutely great and superb musicianship, post-hardcore is a force to be reckoned with. One feature of post-hardcore that everyone knows it by is the breakdowns. Just listen to this face-melting breakdown by Woe Is Me. Post-hardcore just wouldn't be without the voices. Singers such as Tyler Carter of Woe Is Me and the mighty Johnny Craig from Emarosa have some of the best technical voices ever heard. Johnny Craig and a few others went on to form Isles and Glaciers, a juggernaut of the post-hardcore scene that only lasted for 1 year. On the English side of things, Def Havana with their lead singer James formed in 2005 and were brilliant. Their style has gotten lighter over the years, but the vocals have remained Johnny Craig-esque in style. Keep your eyes on Mallory Knox, these boys are good and up and coming. The receiving end of sirens, seasoned veterans, but still good. Very, very good. Four Letter Lie featured great harmonies, well in 2008 anyway. And of course, Asking Alexandria, quoted to say numerous times in interviews that they are the best band in the world. I wouldn't agree with them there. The attitude is absolutely rotten, but they're okay though, I'd say. And of course, the Jokers from the UK, Enter Shikari. These guys have a great attitude and funny live performances. Moving on to something quite different, Twin Atlantic. Like Biffy Clyro, Twin Atlantic is another band from Scotland. They feature intricate guitar riffs and cool rhythm sections. Band worth checking out definitely in my book. The Dangerous Summer. A band that has been quoted in interviews to say to sing only for themselves and not what a producer tells them to. They're a great band as well, check them out. The Farewell Circuit, a band that just records in the basement and really isn't having much success, but is actually really, really great. I love some of their music. Of course, M83 just found success recently, but has been around since 2001, releasing 5 full albums before tasting real success. From New Zealand, the Naked and Famous saw success in their second album. Absolutely great tracks on this one that blew me away. Definitely a recommendation here, please check them out. Mike from American Football went on to found Owen, a great solo project with great storytelling ability as well. And also, a band that's going places, Rainy Day Woman. My mates from Perth, you should really check them out. All of these artists have been great influences to me when making my music, which has been featured in some of the videos as well. So, none of these bands may appeal to you, you may even despise them all, but this is just my take. Lately music has been a money-making machine. It doesn't have to be that way. I encourage you to explore and discover music that's still all about the music.